Hey everybody, I hope everybody's ready to go for your math lesson today. Today I will be seeing Miss Adams' homeroom in small groups, so hopefully Miss Bays and Miss O'Brien's class is watching. Today, if you are in Miss Adams' homeroom and you decided to watch the video before you came, you will need your dry erase boards today and markers. If you are in Miss O'Brien's or Miss Bays's, you can still use those on the problem that I'm going to be giving you on the screen that I'm going to be working with you through, but I do want you to practice them on your own. So that's a good way to do that. Maybe take a screenshot and send it to me so I can take a look at it. It's not a requirement, but if you'd like for me to look at it, I would enjoy seeing those. So today we're still representing numbers. You're going to be able to find the learning targets, why we need to know this, and how we're going to apply it in problems that we're going to be solving in math class. But today your learning target is still the same as it was yesterday. I will read and write 3-digit numbers. Now today we're going to be taking our 3-digit numbers and we're going to be writing them in words. And I know that it's not as big as it used to be, but previously people wrote checks. And when you write a check, you're required to write the number out in words. Actually, I still write checks occasionally. Yesterday, I had my son to write one for his vocal lessons. So I still write them. It's important to be able to spell those numbers out and put them in words. So we're going to move on forward, and I'm just going to review the vocabulary quickly with you. Remember, a digit is any digit from 0 to 9 used to write a number. So when I say the word digit in your mind, I want you to see the numbers 0 through 9. Place value tells us the value of each digit, which is what we just talked about. A digit is 0 to 9, according to where its position is in the number. And remember, we've got some pretty large numbers in our world that we use, and place value is important because all of our number system is based on place value. Standard form means you're just going to write the number in a way to only show the digits, which is, in that example, is 385. Expanded form means we're stretching that out. If you've had me already in class when we talked about that stretching it out, you saw people pulling a rubber band to stretch it and saw that example, and I'll do that again today. Word form means we're going to write it. Just like we say it, we're going to write it. And then pictorial form means that we can draw a picture to represent it or use base 10 blocks to represent that for us. So as we start today, we're going to talk about how to spell those numbers. That to me is the most difficult part, is learning how to spell those numbers and making sure I spelled correctly. So I'm going to quickly just review with you. If we're writing a 3-digit number, of course, we're going to have to say or write that number in regards to the place value it's in. So if I'm writing 100, I would write it as 1 and then the word 100, and all the way down through 900. If I'm writing the number, my tens, I'm going to write 20, 30, 40. So it's going to be those just how I would say it. If I were to say 20, I would write that as well. And then 1 through 9, we already know about those numbers in the ones place value. And it's just going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, just like you would count and say it. There are some rules, though, when we're writing numbers. You always add a hyphen when writing those numbers out in word form when you're talking about a number that is in both the tens and ones. Now, there is an exception to that. Numbers that are 11 through 19 are special, and they don't follow that pattern that we just learned. They actually are just written out 11, 12, 13, and I'll show you examples of that as well. But if there is a number that is written out in words, then you're going to put a hyphen if there's a value in the tens and the ones place, with the exception of 11 through 19. So I'm going to show you those examples. If I'm writing the numbers 10 through 19, they're going to just be written out and spelled according to how we say it. So there's not going to be a hyphen in those. I'm going to put on the screen for you, and you may want to write these down in a notebook just to have them available to you so that you can look at those for spelling issues and for a reference as well. Then we're going to actually try some of these today together. And again, if you have a notebook, you may want to do some of these on your own and just send me a picture and say, hey, Miss Bates, take a look at this. I'd like to see if I did this correctly. But I'm going to take this standard form number and I'm going to write it as an expanded form number and then write it in word form. So our number, if we were reading the standard form number, we would read it as 453. So in the hundreds place, I have a 4, which means I have 4 hundreds. And also remember that when we expand it, we still want to keep that number together. So we're going to put a plus sign there. And then I'm going to have a 5 in the tens place, so that makes that 50. And then there's a 3 in the ones. So if I'm expanding that number out, I'm just writing what digit it is and the place value by putting my zeros according to whether it's hundreds or tens. Now, to write that in words, I'm going to read that number to you. And how I read it is how we write it. 453. So you're going to write it just like I said it. 400. I'm not sure why I'm. Now remember our rule. If there's a value in the tens and the ones, and it's not those exception numbers 10 through 19, then we have to put a hyphen. So when I read this number now, I'm going to read it just like it looks here, 453. And we're going to do the same thing with 682. So we know expanded that 6 in the hundred is in the hundreds place. I know that 8 is in the tens place, so that's 80. And then the 2 is in the ones. Now, I'm going to write this one just like we said it, 682. Oops. I might, if I can learn to spell. And again, that hyphen's got to be there because it's not the exception number. And I do have a value in both places. So 682. The next number is 101. So I have a value in the hundreds place. I have 100 plus. I have no value in the tens. So I don't have to put anything there. I don't have to put a 0. Unless I just want to. It's not going to be incorrect, but I don't have to do that. It just kind of jumbles up my numbers and I don't have to do that. I do have a 1 in the ones place. So to write that number expanded, I would write it as 100 plus 1. Now, when you're writing this number out, we have to be really careful because a lot of times I hear somebody say, we have 101. We're going to say 101. We don't want to use the word and there because as you'll go through your next few grade levels, you're going to see what the word and means, and it won't work in this particular number. So our number is 100. I don't know if anybody else is like me and has trouble typing sometimes. 101. So you're just going to write that number out just like we would say it, 101. All right, so today you're going to be working on IXL B7. It's still going to be working on expanded form because I want you to focus on expanded form so that we can get ready to start working with addition and subtraction. That's one of the strategies we're going to use for adding numbers and subtracting numbers. So it's going to be important for you to be able to write those numbers in expanded form so that we can actually see them. For today, though, that's going to be your lesson. You will do the problem of the day as always. Challenge yourself on that problem of the day. Today, it's more of a question that you're going to write something to explain it rather than having numbers, because actually the problem does not have any numbers at all, and it doesn't ask you to make any up. So you're just going to explain to me how you would solve that problem if you knew what the numbers were. So it will be something that you're going to have to type out. It will require more than one word as an answer, so you're going to need to type in complete sentences like Miss Adams has been teaching you. So make sure that you do that, and you should have a good explanation in words as to how you would solve that problem. I hope everybody has a great day. Look forward to seeing you.